Okay, just kind of just spur of the moment video to just come on here to just talk about life and just some of the things that you have to go through. Um, with the lighting, it probably isn't great, and I know that it's just a normal Saturday for most, but for today it's not me for me. Um, just dealing with the loss of my sister. You know, for those that know me, know that my sister's been in the hospital now since last year. She's been in the hospital, I think, since either end of September, early October. Um, you know, her health was one that if we would have known certain things was going on, maybe we could have helped her to address it better. You know, sleep apnea. You know, I used to suffer from sleep apnea a lot. Um, I think I addressed that with getting better pillows, stop drinking as much as I used to, um, better diet, um, and just trying to give my body better rest and just do my body better. You know, getting older. You know, you can't do the things that you used to do in your teens and your 20s and your 30s. You just can't. And, you know, for some of us, it may take a little bit longer to accept that than others. But, you know, hopefully the sooner you understand that, the better that, you know, when you're in your 50s and, or even when you get into your 40s and especially in your 50s and you're approaching 60, you can't do the same things you used to do when you're younger. Your body just doesn't recover. Your body's just starts saying, I don't know what you're doing, but we ain't doing that. So, for those of us that know, that's real. But having to come to grips with knowing that my sister's no longer here and saying my final goodbyes to her yesterday was very, very heartbreaking. Um, I was 7 years older than her, so I remember the first day she came home when my mother brought her home. And I always tell this story. I just came home from school, and so I was just excited to see my mother home. So I'm asking her, like, where's the baby and stuff like that, and she's like, the baby's on the bed in the bedroom. So I go in the bedroom, and it's like this little doll is like laying on the bed, and it's not moving. So, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, so I turn around, I'm like, Mom, where's the baby? You know what I'm saying? I'm just, it's like a doll is on the bed, but it's not moving. Is that right? And all of a sudden she made a noise. She was like, and it's just, and started making like a baby noise. And I'm like, oh, it's like, it shocked me. And I'm like, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? Because, and from that time of realizing that, like, wow, this living thing here, and it was a girl, because up until that point, it was really just me and my older cousins, all boys. So all we did was just run around, beat each other up, be doing what boys do. and stuff like that, and having fun. But it wasn't until my cousin Crystal, who's about a couple of years older than my sister, and then my sister, where we actually started to get girls in the family. So we couldn't play as rough with them, obviously, but but my sister was one where it was like, wow. So it was one of those things where I was a big brother, where before that I was always the youngest boy, and being the youngest boy, out of my cousins, because I didn't have older siblings, so my cousins were basically my older siblings. So it was just like growing up with them, it was just like, hey, I really didn't miss anything as far as being a brother, because as far as I was concerned, my cousins were my brothers. So when my cousin Crystal came along, and then my sister, it was like, okay,